moved here from London 10 years ago. Hi, family. We lived right here on Far Road, back here in temporary housing, and this is when I did not want to have a car, drive a car. I insisted that I didn't need a car, I was going to walk. Pregnant with twins, Edward and George right there. And so I used to walk from those temporary houses up here, because you had a Publix and you had a Barnes & Noble, so what else did you need, really? And I was working on something blue beside tables, and then a few months later, when Something Borrowed, my first book came out, this was the first place we came. The boys were in little car seats, and we came and plopped them down and took a bunch of pictures, posing with the books that were on display, and then I went and bought my very first book at the counter and said to the guy, Benji, who I saw last night, I'm still friends with him, this is my book and I'm buying it. So he gave me my first Amazon review. He posted it that night, and we've stayed friends ever since. So this store is very special to me, and I appreciate you all being here at the start of a holiday weekend. The inspiration for the One and Only, the thing that I really wanted to explore was this idea of unconventional love. And I think so often we want our life to look a certain way and our relationships to be a certain way. But what if we want something that isn't right on paper? Or what if we fell in love with someone we shouldn't? So that's a theme that sort of started with Something Borrowed, and one that I like to explore, and I sort of tackled it again in the One and Only. So Shay, for those of you, has anyone started reading it yet? Yeah? Has anyone finished it? I won't give away the ending. But Shay is 33 years old, and she's living in this small town in Texas. And she has a relationship that she's dating a guy named Miller. She likes him, and she likes her job, and everything is good enough, and she's happy enough. And suddenly something happens in the book at the first chapter that makes her stop and sort of take stock of her life and ask herself, is this the life I'm meant to be living? Am I just living a life of convenience and safety, or am I really meeting my destiny? And I think a lot of us, reach that moment and have that question at various points in our lives. I definitely had it when I was a lawyer in New York, long time ago, and rather miserable, billing a lot of hours and working late nights, and I knew I wanted to be writing. And at some point, I just said, listen, I have to write. And so I changed my life, and at the time, it felt like a very big risk. And I think that's another theme that I explore in a lot of my books, this idea of taking that risk and following your heart, and how sometimes that can be a difficult thing when you have to balance loyalties to others. The other thing that I get asked, I've been asked a lot this week, is why football? Why did I choose to have football as the backdrop? So I get that question less in the South, because it's like, why not football? But I've always wanted to. I've been passionate about sports since I was a little girl. College basketball is sort of my true passion, but I love college football too. And I've always wanted to write a story with the whole sports backdrop. I think it's such rich terrain to explore a lot of other issues outside the game. Because beyond the game, we have these very intense emotions around our team, and we care so much, and sometimes you wonder why that is. But it ties into this feeling of loyalty, and a commitment to something bigger than yourself. And I think sports have a way of really bringing together people from very diverse backgrounds. And so all of these things really worked well in the One and Only with the character. So yeah, sports worked well. I could have set this in the. Thank you, Kate, by the way. She's a great assistant. Sports worked well for this, but it could have been, I could have explored, he could have been a CEO, the coach. I wanted this larger-than-life figure, though, where everyone looks up to him and sort of puts him on a pedestal, and I think that, the whole college coach, that's the football answer. And, I love the movie Rocky, for example, and I don't like boxing, so I think that, even if you don't care for football, the story hopefully will still work for you. And that's about what I do.
Yeah, other than